Hi, and welcome back. If you are new here, I'm the artist, Mr. Otis Ball. I'm mostly known for my character animation, mostly of that purple guy named Orion. I also do a lot of sketchbook work here on my channel. Even though I typically work digital, my beginnings was in traditional art, and that also includes traditional animation. For today's video, I wanted to start my new sketchbook since I just finished my last one in this video and did a sketchbook tour on my last video. So this video is about starting the new sketchbook, but before I start it, I'm going to make it. I am like most artists. I have a collection of sketchbooks I've bought and maybe filled a couple pages in and then abandoned into a pile of started and also brand new sketchbooks that continues to grow. And usually for finishing a sketchbook, I try to reward myself by buying a new one. But I also pride myself on being a thrifty, resourceful, crafty person, and I have made my own sketchbooks in the past. I thought, why not just take a sketchbook that I've abandoned, that has seen better days, and repurpose it into a brand new sketchbook that I will use and will finish instead of buying another one that will inevitably sit in that pile to also go untouched. I actually, on this shelf over here, I have all of my unfinished or brand new sketchbooks. And already the shelf I feel like is pretty full. So what I've already done is picked out this sketchbook that I've had there for quite a few years. I don't even think originally it was mine. I think someone else I knew bought it and then just gave it to me because they weren't going to use it anymore. I have used it. There are a few drawings in here already. I think one of the biggest reasons I stopped using it is because it's ugly. First of all, I don't like these, very basic covers. Also doesn't have a backside, so seem to have destroyed it or something, repurposed that for something else. But there is still a whole stack of unused paper in this one, so this would be the perfect victim to make into my brand new sketchbook. So right now I'm just gonna take us to the planning stage of what I want this sketchbook to look like. All right, before we get into the actual planning, I'm just gonna show you the supplies that we're working with. Because when I'm saying this thing is gonna be thrifty, this whole sketchbook is gonna have a thrifty, reuse, repurposing, crafty look to it. So of course I've already showed you the sketchbook we're using. It's Bienfang Mixed Media Sketchbook. It's saying mixed media, it's got a marker, paintbrush, pen, pencil, acid-free, fine surface, 40 sheets. Obviously, a lot of the paper is already used, so we will not be using those. I want the sketchbook to be a completely fresh start. Next, for the actual cover of the sketchbook, I was gifted a Mifi wall clock for my birthday from my best friend Emily, and it came in this really cute bright, it looks pretty orange especially on camera, but to me it has like a reddish orange feel, kind of like a poppy color, so I'm gonna say it's like a reddish orange. But I just really love the color of it, and I just haven't thrown it away because I'm like, I just feel like it's such a waste to throw away such pretty cardboard. So I thought, why not just use it to make a sketchbook, right? It's also got this Mifi on the back, which I want to see if I can cut that out and make that the back of my sketchbook. Reduce, reuse, recycle, right? So that's for the base of the cover, but I also want to do something a little bit more fun and crafty and cute with it. So I also have this green striped fabric. I wanted to get like a gingham print green fabric, but I don't have that and I haven't found it. And I don't really want to, again, go out and buy more stuff for my thrifty repurposed sketchbook. So I've had this green fabric. Now I think this is the perfect place to use it. So green striped fabric, but I do have this yellow gingham print. It's a very small print. I want to use this on the inside of my sketchbook. And then finally, for the cutest little detail, I found these ceramic buttons at a local art store that has like a lot of thrifty vibes to it because it's got a lot of old product. It just hasn't been used, and so now it's all just sitting there. And they had these ceramic buttons for sale, and I thought they were so cute. They're like school themed, and one of the buttons inside is this cute little apple. You can't really see it. I'm gonna have to do the thing. So yeah, I want to use this button probably on the cover of this sketchbook. It doesn't really match the Miffy orangey red, but I think it's gonna be really cute. All right, I have a pretty clear image of what this sketchbook is gonna look like. I think it's gonna be really cute. All right, now we'll get to the true planning of the sketchbook. So now that we know all the supplies we're working with, this Miffy piece will be the back piece. Then we have our front cover with the button and the fabric behind it. The yellow fabric will be the inside cover. And then something I didn't really talk about, but then we do have to factor it in, is the stitching for the binding, because I am going to be doing Coptic binding, but I think a green would look the best, just for another little pop of green. But then I also decided I wanted to do this kind of blanket stitching around the covers and then also around the cutout where the Apple button is going to rest. I just think this will add an extra cute little crafty feel to it. So with all that planning done and we know what we're doing, we're getting right to the making of. First things first is I'm tearing out all the pages of this sketchbook. So I'm just separating the ones that already have drawings on them and the completely blank untouched papers. It's really funny to just look through it and see what is in here. There's just like a bunch of random drawings, anatomy studies. There's one page that just says LOL. One of the biggest reasons why I chose this sketchbook too is that it wasn't a big sketchbook to start, and now that it's been drawn in a lot, it has even less paper to use. That was kind of what I was looking for when I picked this one. The past two sketchbooks have been kind of big. You know, I had the green one, which was like, it was small in like paper size, but it was like 300 pages. And then the one after that, I thought, oh, this one will be good because it's like less page count. Like it was like 50 pages, but the size was still twice as big. It kind of still was like a lot to fill. So this one I'm going for smaller paper surface, and then overall I want my page count to be under 100 in total, front and back included. I do want to finish it relatively quickly. I don't want to linger too much on it. You know, I don't want to make myself a 300 page sketchbook. I want to be able to finish it and then move on to the next, which is perfect because this sketchbook naturally gave me that option. So now that I'm done ripping out and organizing, I can move on to cutting these pages. I don't want to linger too long on the making of the sketchbook. I mean, I'm going to show you kind of like the whole process, but I'll just condense the clips down and then you'll see, and I'll like generally make notes of like what I'm doing. Because like here, it's like I'm just, you know, cleaning off the binding from the perforated spiral bound sketchbook. But yeah, I think I just want to take this time while you're watching me put the sketchbook together to talk about, I guess, my goals for this new sketchbook, so I can kind of manifest those ideas. See now, okay, and then now I'm like folding all the papers in half for my signatures using a bone folder. Also, fun fact, bookbinding was my 2020 pandemic skill that I picked up, and I'll link the YouTube video that I learned from and still reference. I'll link it in the description. But yeah, so basically the past two sketchbooks I've worked in were like very, I wouldn't say cheap, well definitely the Daiso one was which kind of is the point, right? But they were definitely like meant for sketching, nothing like crazy, most likely like colored pencil pens at most. I mean, the Daiso one was really hard to work in because of how thin and, you know, cheap the paper was, which it can be nice in a sense of you're not worried about, this is a watercolor sketchbook, I don't want to fill it with bad drawings, bad watercolor, or else I'm wasting the paper, I'm wasting the sketchbook. I mean, even on that shelf that I showed you at the beginning that has all my unfinished sketchbooks, there's a lot of watercolor sketchbooks in there because that's definitely what goes through my head when I have really nice sketchbooks like that. But then you get into a point where like you kind of get locked into a sketchbook like the Daiso one where like you can't use a lot of the supplies that you have because the paper just will not work, and then you're bleeding through other drawings and then it just gets annoying. So this one, I'm using this paper that's supposed to be a little bit higher quality than that, and I'm hoping with that I want to use more of my alcohol markers, want to use watercolor. I have gouache that I haven't even opened yet that I've gotten like a year ago. I want to break out some of those, paint in the sketchbook. I love color. I think if you've seen my sketchbook tours or seen any of my drawings, you can probably tell that I love using color. I mean, my main OC is a guy who's literally purple. So yeah, I love using color, and I want to be able to use in the sketchbook more color, more mediums, get to play a little bit more without worrying about the paper buckling under one drop of ink. right? But then again, like I've said before, I don't want to like spend too much time in the sketchbook. I want to be able to finish it in a few months. That might sound crazy, but I've done it before and I feel like I can bring back that again. Also, what I want to start doing this year in the new year with the sketchbook is go back to posting like scans of what I've did in my sketchbook for the month on Patreon. So I'm going to start doing that again for my patrons. And then at the very end, of course, do a full digital scan and put that on my coffee for anyone to get or just download. Just because I think those are really fun too, to have like the full collection there for you. Now I got a brand new sketchbook and we'll get into the second half of this video, which is starting that sketchbook in this video. All right, so sketchbook complete. It's fully bound. I even got a little bookmark in there. It's officially ready to be drawn in, which is what I'm going to do now. I will start the first page of the sketchbook in this video. So I'm just going to draw on the first page. It's not going to be like a full spread or anything, but I also wanted to test out these markers, which were sent to me by Arrtx. It is their new line of alcohol markers. They're like a really pretty pastel set. This isn't sponsored or anything. They just wanted to send it to me to try out and review. And I thought I might as well put that in this video since I did intend to make the sketchbook better for like alcohol markers and like more heavier mediums like that. So what I'll do is I'll sketch the first page and then color it with these markers. All right, now we get to the fun part. Finally drawing in my new sketchbook. I know there's like a lot of anxiety or hesitation that comes up when introduced to the first page of a sketchbook. I've definitely felt that feeling of like, oh, what you do on the first page is gonna set the tone for the rest of the sketchbook. So it feels like we put this unnecessary expectation on like this one page, which I think is really funny because obviously most of the time the best pages of your sketchbook are like in the middle or even sometimes towards the end. Almost never is it like the very first page is something spectacular or like you peak. And then everything else that is after that is like, but nothing compares to the first page, right? So I don't know. I definitely have my moments. As you can see here, I definitely sketched a little Orion drawing and I decided, don't like that. And of course, I feel like there's always that push. You want to draw something good. You want to draw something that like inspires you to continue to pick up the sketchbook. But I think with my sketchbooking habits, I've just kind of convinced myself to get over that fear. I still have it. I'm not like saying like I completely solved it for myself, but I feel like giving myself a lot of leeway with like, oh well, if I don't like it, I can just draw over it or erase it or literally glue another page on top of it and draw something else. It doesn't have to be as if this is a perfectly bound book and every page is like beautiful and uniform and there's no even hint of like error. Me as an artist, it's not about perfectionism, and it can't be because it'll never be perfect. So I try to give myself grace above everything. I end up coming up with stuff I do genuinely like. I don't know if that helps any of you at all. That's just me yapping about how I feel about it. But if that helps you in any way, see a different viewpoint, that is awesome. Now, as for the review of this pastel set of alcohol markers by Arrtx, so I did do like a swatch test of them, and it's always really interesting to see like the colors and how they appear on paper versus what they look like on the markers. The only thing I will say about the set as a whole is that there are a few colors that look almost identical, and maybe it's just the way that I see them, but there's like these purples that look almost translucent, and there's about like 2 or 3 of them that look the same. So that's a tiny bit disappointing when you're expecting to get a full set of different shades. But other than that, using them, it was really nice. The pigments of the colors that I chose to work with, all very vibrant, but still like in that pastel range. No horrible streaking, all very uniform color like you expect from like high quality alcohol markers. Mostly what I used for this whole drawing for the coloring, and then I went over with a little bit of the Arrtx acrylic markers and some Prismacolor pencils on top of it. As I've said, I've had this set of Arrtx acrylic markers in the past, those ones I bought on my own, and I do really like them. I really like all the colors that came with the pack that I got, and like the brush tips for them. And I think it's really interesting that they're branching out now into alcohol markers. I'm really interested to see what they do next because I, so far, am a pretty big fan of the products they do make. And with sending me these markers, Arrtx did also give me a discount code, which I'll leave in the description for you guys. But another thing I wanted to talk about while I'm doing this little drawing section is I kind of wanted to brainstorm with you guys since it's the new year. I want to brainstorm ideas for the next videos that I'm going to be making for this channel. I really want to do a studio tour of my little mini studio that you've seen obviously in this video and a little bit of the other videos because I always love watching those. I think they're really fun and it gives you a little more insight into who I am, what I'm working with as an artist, kind of just more behind the scenes. And I just love those kind of videos. I think they're really fun. I always love watching other artists and seeing where they work and how they set up their studio. And of course it gives you just so much insight onto like them as an artist as well. But then of course, as I'm posting all my animation on YouTube now, all my shorts, as many of you I think are here because of those shorts, which I'm very grateful, very thankful. On my Instagram, I've done more of a deep dive into the lore of Orion and his story. But even on there, it's kind of like all over the place in like different areas that you'll find it on different posts and story highlights. And then obviously here, I'm almost posted nothing of the lore. I've been seeing like you requesting it all, even when I gave you like a little bit on one of the shorts a while back. Of course, that was only like a tiny tip of the iceberg. So another idea I was thinking of is making a comprehensive lore post for Orion's story of all the information that I have explained and revealed so far. I'm not going to explain the entire story. There is a whole story. I have the beginning, I have the end. Like it's a whole planned out thing. And of course I don't want to spoil it all, but just giving you guys all like a little bit of world building, character descriptions, introducing all of the characters. I just think that would be a really fun idea. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that. It would be a full video, you know, not like a short or anything, because it would be much longer than a short would allow me to do. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, or if you have any other ideas of videos you would like to see from me. I'm also thinking of like, you know, animate with me's. If you guys want more like drawing tips or stuff like that, or videos where like I'm animating, doing voiceover, talking, telling you stories, or explaining my artistic journey, story writing and character writing and stuff like that. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. I have a lot of ideas besides the ones I listed here going forward, but of course I want to make videos that you guys are actually going to want to watch and are interested in. It's all very exciting. So yeah, and with that, we finished the first page of this new sketchbook. Also, I feel like if we're going to talk about the future videos that I'm going to make for this channel, I want to also talk about my future plans in general with my art. I know a lot of you are asking for a webcomic, and something that I've also been hinting at or saying for a while is that I want to do a webcomic, and truly that is the goal that I'm working towards. It's why I've started my Instagram and then branched out to YouTube here, and also started my Patreon and the Blossom Mail Club, is to set up this path for myself to be able to work on creating a webcomic, ideally full-time. So of course that's why like I am advertising my Patreon a lot too, is because that also directly helps me build towards this future plan. And on there I'm going to start talking about more in detail my plans, what the steps are going to look like to get me there. But so far what I can say is that I've been thinking about the way I can use my own skill as an animator. That's what I went to school for and everything, and using those skills that I've learned to help me with this creation of the webcomic. So I've been thinking more in the lines of possibly doing more of a web series that would be posted here on my YouTube channel, and then maybe also do like the webcomic version on the side, but mostly make all the design as if for a video format on YouTube. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm going into more detail with that on my Patreon, especially in the coming months. So if you go there, you'll hear more about that plan. But other than that, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that like I am working towards that. That is the goal. Like this is all working towards something. The sun's coming right through the window right now, so I gotta hurry this up before it's fully gone. But yeah, that concludes this video for my new sketchbook. I'm hoping I can finish this one fairly quickly. but I'm really excited about it, especially because of how cute it turned out. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you watched all the way through, thank you so much. And if you haven't already, subscribe to see more of my stuff, more sketchbook stuff, more drawing stuff, and of course, more animation. And last but not least, thank you to my patrons. Your support means so much, and your support directly helps me make these videos, helps me make my animation, and help me build a possibility in the future to do more fun, more involved projects like a possible webcomic. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video pretty soon. So until then, have a good one. All right. All right. Bye.